right, family. This is Reginald Kuakaru. I'm the founder of Kemetic Living, and I'm here tonight with Marcus Alexander, and he is a KCL Kemetic Centered Living student and has been for about a year or so, a little over a year. And dude has been doing some amazing things. Has come through some things, and and as life is, we're always. Life is never finished, so we're always evolving. So Marcus is definitely doing that, and I've seen a difference in him since he's been here. So, man, let's give Marcus a little time here and talk about who he is, what he's doing, how he came to KCL, how it's helping him, and all that stuff. Okay, so go ahead, Marcus. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh man, it's been a wonderful experience. My name is Marcus Alexander. I also go by Sound Off the General. I came across KCL in about the end of 2020, going into 2021. What's interesting about that is I'm also have been diagnosed bipolar, and so I have what is called a manic episode end of 2020, going into 2021. During what people don't know about mania is that it's the best way I say it is like you're not sleeping, you're having grand thoughts, you're having hallucinations. One time I thought I was Jesus. So, just to give you some perspective, I thought I was the only begotten son. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. How was that working? I mean, tell me a little bit about that.
So that's one of those things where I talk about mania is a bittersweet kind of thing, because you have those memories of when you were doing stuff that was irrational, not thinking. I got plenty of stories like that, but that's another story. But
gotcha. Okay.
Too long to talk about all of that. But anyways, so 2021 was what they call for me a tower year. So
a what year?
A tower year.
Tower?
Yeah, a tower. Kind of like in tarot where he talks about the tower.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically anything that you could think of going bad that year happened. Got a divorce, got arrested. This all during mania. I'm in Grand Island, Nebraska in 2021. Catch 2 charges, resisting arrest, terroristic threatening to the police. I'm in my drawers in the middle of Nebraska.
Wow.
Yeah, police got guns on me. I should have died.
Wow.
So I'm going through that. I have to spend 48 days consecutively in 22-hour lockdown in Nebraska. And so you come out an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening. So when all this is over, I'm on the way back to the house. My uncle and my mother come get me from Nebraska. And my uncle tells me then, when I tried to call him, asking him for wise counsel.
Hey there, family. This is Reginald Kuakaru, founder of Kemetic Centered Living. And I hope you're enjoying this interview with Marcus. And we're highlighting the people that are in our community, the types of people that we have, and the lessons that they have learned. So you can see that this stuff is not just woo-woo or theoretical. It's actually real life application that you can have in your life. So if you're interested in really learning all my best stuff and best secrets, then you can join the community. It's closed right now, but as soon as the doors open, we can notify you. And you can do that by getting on the wait list at jointhekclfamily.com. All right? So we'll get back to the interview.
That the Holy Spirit told him I don't talk to demons. I called his wife because he told me, call my wife if you ever can't get in touch with me. I called her. She doesn't answer the phone. And she tells him, he tells me later, that the Holy Spirit told her not to answer. And so my thing is, what bothered me is, if you're supposed to be able to do the same thing that Jesus can do, Jesus in the Bible talked to demons. If I was so quote unquote a demon, how you can't talk to your nephew? So that kind of led me even further
So what did that when that happened, what did it trigger for you as a mindset? What did it do to you?
I was filled with anger. I was filled with rage. One of the things I for sure thought, well, I was already teetering on leaving Christianity, but after that solidified it for me.
Gotcha. Now, your background as far as Christianity is concerned, could tell us a little bit about your background.
So, when my family is somewhat religious, my grandfather on my mother's side was a deacon. They say my father was a preacher when he was a kid. My grandmother was an evangelist. And so when I was in the 6th grade, she told me the fire and brimstone story of hell in Revelation. So I was like, I don't want to go to hell. I want to be saved. And so about 13, got into the church more. A guy that I looked up to changed his life around. So I'm like, oh, okay, I want to be a part of that. I want to experience the good stuff. And so about 19 or 17, I accepted what I thought was my call to preach. People were saying, hey, you know, I spoke at my grandfather's funeral one time, not speaking as a preacher, but just got up and said a few words. And I heard people in the video, oh, he's going to be a preacher. So I felt like, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Right, because you got to give.
Right. But on the dual side of this, there was a dual life going on.
Okay.
Because from the age of 9, I had the passion of doing music. So I accept preaching at about 17 and 19, where I'm having conflictions because they're telling me, oh, you're supposed to be doing gospel rap or you're supposed to, you know, give your talent to the Lord. And I'm like, I'm not with that. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I want to make music the way I want to make music and express myself the way I express. So, you know, I was telling a friend earlier, it was so funny. I was living a dual life in such that like 45 minutes away where I went to church, people knew me as a preacher there, but in my city, they didn't know me as a preacher because I wanted to keep them separate.
Gotcha.
Because I wanted to be free to do my music. So it was very conflicting.
Wow.
You know, I had a pastor tell me that the passion for music was the devil. It was
passion for music was the devil?
Yeah, it was that Satan was using music to tempt me.
Wow. Talk about a conflict.
Yeah, so here's something that I love to do. And you're telling me so my thing is, well, why God create me? If he gave me this passion to want to do this, why would you create me and have conflict and say I can't do it?
Right. Man, you know how many artists I've heard that from, though? I mean, you think about one of the greatest artists of all time, Aretha Franklin. And she had that same conflict with her, you know, pastor, father, and stuff like that. How many times have we heard that stuff where a person can be talented, but the church people will say, no, you got to do it this particular way and for it to be okay.
Right. And if that happened, we miss out on so much.
Yep. If a person did not follow their own talent, did not do life on their terms, we would have missed out on Aretha Franklin, man.
Yes, sir. Follow your joy, my eye. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah. So did you like get in the pulpit and preach, or was
I was pulpit preaching. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was like so back to the dual life, you know, they say you're supposed to be, you know, not a curse, you know, don't curse. Well, I'm a cusser. You know what I mean? Like that, it just conflicting again, you know, drinking and smoking. You know, they say you weren't supposed to do that. Well, I like do that. You say you weren't supposed to have sex before marriage. I like doing that. So it's just like I was living a lie. And then and the thing, and it was all under this where Jesus know my heart kind of thing.
So that was kind of your
scapegoat.
Your get out of jail card in a sense.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Not being authentic to who I am. And that's what I love about KCL the community and the family is about being authentic to who you are. And so for somebody that has lived multiple lives presenting different things to different people, it was difficult. But now I live in the truth of this is who I am.
So do you think that there is a connection to trying to live that dual life and the struggle that you had with bipolar?
I've never looked at it that way, Teach. I wouldn't necessarily say that because I felt like I can see it. Never mind, I can see it. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I never looked at it that way. I just always saw them as separate entities.
Yeah, yeah. But to me, I guess in my mind, it's just, and I have like a background in psychology. So when it comes to, there's always like, to me, a connection to, just the mentality that a person has, and then the beliefs that they have about themselves and about their life and stuff like that. So that to me is just it just seems like that would be, and I'm not saying it is, that's why I was asking the question, but it just seems like the struggle will cause the other part too. So the struggle, that battle that you were having might cause that other part too,
Right. Because, I've also heard that, trauma as a kid also leads to mental health disorders and stuff like that. So I wouldn't put it past. But like I said, I just, love KCL once again, because it's like being able to be.
So tell me, how did you come across KCL? And let's address this idea, because so how is it now that you're able to be yourself? So let's talk about how you came across KCL, and then what the principles do for you.
Okay. So once again, when I was in 2021, when I was having the episode, I ran across KCL, and I ran across KCL because I had questions of what is the truth. There were contradictions that I was finding with Christianity, like such as, if Moses wrote the Pentateuch, how did he write all 5 books of the Bible when part of it he wasn't there for, and the other part he was dead? So that part just didn't make sense to me. I'm having questions. How does my life, having continuous episodes, back to back, how is my life turning out for good? It didn't align with me. I didn't feel that. And so, long story short, once I get back, home from Nebraska, everything is in shambles. I have these charges on my background. I have basically on my social work degree, where it's almost like it could not be worth anything. I have divorce just happening. Then me and my brother get into it where I'm staying with him because we get into it, I'm transitioning into spirituality, and it leads to basically me and him getting into it. I end up leaving his house and I'm in the extended stay. And so I'm watching The Secret. And as I'm watching The Secret, I'm like, I just want to manifest better life. I want to manifest my wife back. I want to manifest, the career I want. I want to manifest all my desires. But it was like I couldn't get past what they were saying, as far as like it didn't seem like they were telling the full story of how to apply these principles. So I'm like, it's not working. And I run into your videos again. See, the first time I ran into your videos, I had a question because there was another guy that was a preacher, and he walked away from Christianity, stopped preaching, stopped praise dancing, stopped gospel rapping, and talked about how Christian people were not messing with him or interacting with him anymore because he chose not to be Christian anymore. And it was just an interesting perspective for me. Well, this time when I run across your videos, my life is in shambles. I need hope. I need something to cling on to, because right now my confidence is shaking. Everything is destroyed around me. And so as I'm going into your lives and asking questions and trying to get clarity of where I'm at in my life, and then slowly but surely, as I'm taking the African Mind Rewired course class, talking about mood and regulating your mood and your vibration, and then knowing that you are the creator, that you are the same thing that the source that God is, that you're one with it. It empowers you. Most of my life, I've had low self-esteem, but it is. And when you, especially in Christianity, when you're saying things like, I'm a wretch and, I'm a filthy rag and I'm nothing without you. I understand now why I had low self-esteem, why I struggle with it. It makes sense now. And so I'm dealing with these things, and it allowed me to be in a negative, pessimistic mindset where I just looked at the bad of everything. And I was in a victim state of mind. And it wasn't until I was hearing your teachings, it was like, either you could be God or you could be victim, but you can't be both.
Yeah.
Very, very impactful for me. Because I had to take ownership. It wasn't God's fault.
Yep.
It wasn't the devil's fault.
And a lot of people, Marcus, that's an issue for people because that is one of the things, the principles is that you do have to take responsibility and ownership of your stuff.
Yeah.
You can't blame it on other people. You can't point at other people. It ultimately points back to you. And what are you going to do to create something? How are you going to create your life? And a lot of people, that becomes difficult because they want to stay in the victim mode,
Right.
and I can say I remember, when you first came to the peer coaching meetings, and and you were talking and you were asking questions, and brother, I just remember your tone was just so heavy, and how you were, it was like I could tell you were searching. And you needed some upliftment at that point, because I could hear in your voice how down you were on you, But man, when you switched around, dude, everybody could tell it. Everybody could tell that Marcus's attitude and who Marcus was different than when he first got here.
Most definitely.
Dude, and now just to listen to you and how you are in the meetings and stuff like that, how you uplift other people, and you definitely have a gift for speaking. So man, you encourage people, you inspire people. Dude, it is a 180.
Thank you.
A 180. So, man, I'm just proud of you. I'm proud to know you, man. And I'm proud to know a brother that just like, man, when he was in one place, he did something to lift himself out. You empowered you.
And that's what I love so much about it is I did the work.
Yes.
I had to apply the principles, but it wasn't something outside of me that did it. I was talking to my friend earlier, and I'm like, from reconcile the relationship with my brother, to finding steady employment, to living on your own, having your own situation, to just becoming stable, not having another episode, all in a year.
Yeah.
Bounce back in a year, 1 year's time.
Yeah.
And one thing
from a mindset shift.
Yep. 1 year. 1 year.
Wow.
1 year.
Incredible.
And what's so incredible about it was the most impactful KCL principle is just on Christ.
Explain that.
The ability to shift your emotions. The observer of your thoughts. Way I view Christ is the ability to not just control your emotion, because you're going to feel different emotions, but not staying there. Like right now, it's the holidays. Don't have my family like I used to. So I could be down, and was somewhat down, but just shifting the emotion, the vibration. Now I'm back in a positive state.
So what did you do to shift that?
Sometimes it's laughing. Sometimes it's the pancake method, you know, flipping, and that was the main thing, flipping how I looked at the situation.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm missing my family. I'm missing my ex-wife. Yeah, that happens. But in the same sense, I have all these wonderful things going for me. I have my health going
Yes.
for me. You know,
Yeah.
last year I was on a contract for a job. This year I'm hired on with the company.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Things to be grateful for. And so when you
Yeah.
look at it like that, it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like you look yourself in the mirror. Okay, guy, are you gonna be victim today, or are you gonna create?
Right. Right.
And so that's
Powerful, man. Powerful. No, and that's again, it's just, and those principles are so powerful. And I know they're real because it was the same thing that, you know, when I was going through my difficult times, that's why I could teach it and explain it so well, is because I knew what I had to do to come through it. You know, when I was in my one room extended stay hotel and down and depressed, dude, I had to do something to take control of my attitude, you know,
yep,
and I knew that that's what it was. A lot of people don't grasp that. They don't think that they don't believe that they have any control over their emotions, and it's just like a river that sweeps them away.
yep. I used to be that
And
way.
I hear over and over how people, when you're dealing with KCL and the principles, when you figure out that you have the power to control that, it is absolutely life changing.
Man, you said it best. Extremely life changing. Because now, you know, I'm looking at situations differently. What can I learn from this situation?
Yes.
What
Yes.
was I supposed to gain from this? Things
And
didn't
how
go
would you have looked at that before?
exactly. I would have looked at it from a victim mindset,
Yeah.
from a negative perspective. You know,
Yeah.
before I came into contact with KCL, family, the principles, life didn't look well to me. Life looked horrible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how I was gonna get through it. It was a lot going on.
Wow. Wow. Man. And now a year later, you're saying how you just basically you come through another level, you know. And I like people to understand this too. And I know you get this, Marcus, so I'm just saying this for them. That doesn't mean that everything is always going to be perfect. It doesn't mean that your journey is finished. But now you have some tools that you can work with and handle things along your journey. You know,
Yep.
when you get into those, because man, you emotionally we still go up and down. You know, it's
Yep.
just we're human.
Yep.
But now using these principles, we have a way that we can handle that, and then we can also start to look at things differently to where we don't stay there. And I like to say, like for me, one of the things that I always said is I can have a bad moment, I can have a bad hour, but a bad day is a choice to look at the negative. It's to focus on the negative.
Yeah, that's powerful.
You know?
That's powerful.
So I chose not to have bad days because I can always find something, the smallest things that I can be grateful for, and then I can just switch it.
Yep. Switch the perspective that quick.
Yep. Yep. So
That
that's
quick.
powerful. That's powerful. So where do you see Marcus? Let's say 5 years from now. So where do you see what do you have that you want to accomplish that you can see yourself doing it now, but you might not have been able to see it back then?
Ooh. So this is wow, that's a great question. So 5 years from now, I would definitely be further in my music career.
Okay.
Pushing my music, pushing my brand, and following my joy. You know, I love the principle Mayat because, you know, when you do something that you love, it even though it may be hard at times, it's not hard because you love it.
Yeah.
So I'm being authentic to who I am and just following my joy.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when I was when I was Christian, when I was preaching, I couldn't pursue music. That's how I looked at it.
You weren't supposed to, but you did anyway.
Right. I wasn't supposed to follow it. I wasn't supposed to follow music. That'd be a disservice to Jesus. So now I'm just at a place where like I'm free and I'm just gonna follow my joy.
Okay.
Pursue my music, and do that wholeheartedly. One of the things that I can say that was a very pivotal thing for me that helped with me following my joy was the last conversation that me and my ex-wife really had. And she told me, I just wish you would just follow your dreams. Stop talking about it. Go do it.
Just be about it.
Be about it. And from that point on, and once I got out of my depression, it's like, you know what? I'm going to follow my joy. Even if it, I've had birth chart readings, from your daughter. So, the future looks great. But if it doesn't, I'm following my joy.
Didn't see that. Wow, that's powerful right there. That's powerful. Yeah, because it's like, that's what a lot of people don't grasp. It's like, it's not necessarily the destination that's really the key thing. It's what you do along the journey. And if you're following your joy, even if you never reach the destination, you can still enjoy life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How would you say that following the principles of Kemetic-centered living are different than religion? Because I know a lot of people will ask, like, man, why would I want to leave one religion and go to another religion? Why would I do that? Is KCL another religion?
No, not another religion, not whatsoever. We apply principles, we apply practices, but we ain't praying to nobody but ourselves. So, at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, what we do is be ourselves. And that's what I love about it. You'll say in a heartbeat, if this doesn't work for you, don't do it. Try something else.
Yep.
And that's the best thing about it, because, in religion, you have to fit a box that you can't fit in.
Yep. Yep.
But with KCL,
they construct a box.
Yeah. But with KCL, you are the box. You just being yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love in our last discussion, we're talking about eating vegan and vegetarian. Some people like, hey, eat. If you like eat meat, and there is no right or wrong way of doing you.
Right. Yep.
That's what I love about it.
Yep. And see, that's what I'd like. And to me, that goes to the principle of, we are all an expression of the Creator in our form, and there is no right or wrong way for the Creator to express itself, and as long as we're being who we are and living through our joy, then we are being that thing that created us, and it created us through its joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like to say that the Kemetic principles of KCL are a foundation for you to build your life on, rather than a box to live in.
Right. And I agree with that. Because I look at it, I see a lot of animes and stuff like that, fictional Japanese cartoons and stuff like that. Had one idea of a guy that becomes on a God level, basically. And so when I look at, the KCL principles, I look at it from a standpoint of like, I'm evolving.
Yes.
And the more I'm applying these principles, I'm evolving the God within me.
Yes.
And so as I'm evolving, of course, there'll be more. Like, I love when you say God in training, not that we are the God, but we're aspects of God.
Yes. Yes.
And we're evolving. We're in training.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That to me is just so powerful too, because it takes the pressure off of trying to be perfect.
Right? Because you can't.
You can't. And to me, trying to establish perfection or reach this state of perfection is really the seed for procrastination.
Mm.
It's really the seed for, just really looking at yourself as lacking something because you haven't reached that so-called or theoretical perfect state.
Right.
It's a seed for self-loathing. The idea of being being perfect. How many times did we as Christians look at Jesus as the model that we couldn't even reach?
Man. Yeah.
You set up for failure.
From the door. From the door.
Man.
From the door.
Golly.
Because, they're
Go ahead.
by their standard, you're always gonna do something. If you didn't do it, you thought about it. So then you're wrong.
Yep. Just for thinking about it.
Just for thinking about it.
You already committed a sin.
Yep. So it is, you're never gonna be that illusion.
Man. So Marcus, if you had to give a man advice that was going through or had been through what you've been through, okay, as far as bipolar and trying to really just establish who you are and what you wanted to do in life, what advice would you give him? What would you tell a guy? Let me look at it this way. What would you tell your 6-year-old self that you've learned now about your grown self? What would you prepare her? How would you prepare him for what you went through?
I would tell him that you are enough. No matter what situation you come across, you're enough. You're enough to handle it. You're enough to deal with it. You're capable. I would also tell myself that you're the creator, good or bad. No matter what situation you're in, you have the ability to create positively or negatively. And then I would just tell myself also, never lose sight of what it is that you love to do. Because what you love to do is who you are.
Yeah, I like that.
And I say that because I look at you teach. You left the classroom, but you're still teaching.
Yeah.
That's just who you are.
Yeah.
And I felt like I would tell him, there are going to be a lot of people telling you what you can't do, and there's going to be a lot of people trying to discourage you from being yourself. Block it out and do you, basically.
Live life on your terms.
Yes, sir. And anybody that's bipolar and that's dealing with this or have dealt with mania or anything like that, you can make it. You can make it. You will make it. Just keep fighting.
And you can say that because you have.
I have. Keep fighting. Keep fighting.
Yeah.
It's hard, but keep fighting. Because eventually, the further you get along, it stops becoming as difficult. It gets easier and easier as you go. Like in the beginning, I couldn't shift my emotions like that. What would have had me down months, couple hours a day, I'm back to myself.
Yeah. Because you're applying these principles. You're living them.
Yep, daily. Got to. There's no other option.
Now tell me this, when we're talking about living these principles, what's the difference between doing what you're doing with Kemetic Principles and how you were trying to live as a Christian? Because a lot of people think, again, with Christianity, you're told that you have to fit into a certain thing. But with KCL is different. Christianity is a religion. KCL is a philosophical system.
Yep.
What do you see as the difference?
So religion
they're trying to live a Christian life and living the life that you're living now.
So I feel like religion tells you all of what you can't do. I felt like KCL tells you go do you. And so that's basically the way I look at it. As a Christian, I live restricted. You know, I lived in turmoil. I live in conflict. I was a contradiction. Walking contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
Now I live in truth. I live me.
Yeah.
You know, good, bad, and indifferent, I'm me.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that, you know, a lot of people might hear this and go, well, man, you just go and just do anything you want to do, and, you know, just live the way you want to live. And on some level, yeah, but you also grown enough and responsible enough to understand that all that comes with that is the consequences that you are responsible for.
Exactly.
You know, so no matter what you do, there's going to be consequences, good and bad, no matter what you do. But from a Kemetic principle perspective, you are the creator of either. Whether it be good or bad, you created it. And when you create it, you have to be the one who changes it.
Yep. Have to deal with it.
You have to deal with it, no matter what it is. You know, and to me, again, that's just a lot more empowering than, you know, waiting on somebody else to swoop down and take care of what you done messed up and hoping that they can do it for you and all that. A lot different. Different.
I agree with that.
Well, Marcus, man, this has been absolutely great, man. I appreciate you sharing with us and really being open and courageous enough to do that, man, because I know a lot of people wouldn't want to talk about this stuff. And I think that again, it says a lot about you. It says a lot about your courage and the power that you have and that you believe that you have in you now, you know, from what you believe differently, you know. So I really want to say thank you, man, for this time, and keep rocking, man, because I tell you what, man, we appreciate you in this community and everything that you bring. You are a positive brother. I mean, you are always uplifting people, man. And for me, I so appreciate that about you. And I know the family would say the same doggone thing.
Thank you.
All right. Well, brother, you have a good night, and we will talk later, and keep on moving.
Yes, sir.
All right.